Morning, everyone. This is Whitney Will from Star Hearth Astrology, and this is your weekly check-in. In this video, I'm going to talk about the astrology of November 18th through the 23rd. I'm nursing a cold, so apologies for my voice. I'm also going to talk about what's going on in general, because that Taurus full moon over the weekend was crazy. If you were feeling bugged out, had weird levels of energy, almost like you had too much coffee, that was a full moon conjunct Uranus. Just tons of frenetic energy, shaking things up. Hopefully that all went okay for you. I am really feeling, so I bet some of you are too, being in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. I'm noticing that people are rescheduling things. Text messages are not going through. There are little technical issues, documents not saving and getting confused on details. Mercury goes retrograde next Monday, just in time for holiday travel. I'm seeing in the weather that there's a couple big storms happening in different parts of the US. That also means there's going to be delays, there's going to be cancellations. And to know that ahead of time, build in wiggle room, because the worst mistakes and the biggest issues of Mercury retrograde happen when we are rushing. So it is your time to take a step back and find that emotional equilibrium. Know that you're going to see it. So when you do see it, there's not a lot of panic around it because we made these plans. And if you have to do something over again and rework the plan, then that's what we do, right? There's a lesson at the heart of each Mercury retrograde. This one's entirely in Sagittarius. You can connect with that whole sign house. I'm an Aquarius rising, so my whole sign house of Sagittarius is my 11th house of friends and alliances and partnerships, and I love it. Asking for help in new ways, connecting with people in new ways. I have this pet theory that whether you like the holidays or not depends on where Sagittarius falls in your chart. I love the holiday season because I love giving, connecting with people, and putting a lot of effort into food. And that it's in my house with all my friends where I get to connect with people and have fun. Yeah, so those are the two main things that I'm thinking about heading into this week. Coming down from that big full moon and the upcoming Mercury retrograde. This week is full. It's definitely a different vibe from the past month. And yeah, big changes. In fact, I think that this week in some ways is arguably the beginning of 2025. And I'll get to that. Okay, so we start out the week Monday with the moon in Cancer. This can be a little bit emotional. I think for some of us, it can look like emotional exhaustion. Same day, we have Mercury opposite Jupiter for the second time. It was nearly opposite Jupiter a couple weeks ago. We have lots of information coming at us, lots of ideas. It can all be a little bit overwhelming because Mercury and Sag and Jupiter and Gemini, they're doing each other's jobs because they're in each other's signs. They can talk to each other, but they're not doing what they're naturally good at. It's a kind of neurodivergent party of information abundance. And so that can definitely get confusing. Mercury opposes Jupiter. They've been building up to this, and this is a big story of this Mercury retrograde because it'll happen 3 times. And Mercury is in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So they have mutual reception. They're staying in each other's houses. They're doing each other's jobs. They can talk to each other because they can see each other through a harmonic aspect. But that doesn't change the fact that they are in signs that are inherently uncomfortable to them. Mercury breaks things down into all the little pieces and tries to understand, right? Mercury is the power of analysis. I am going to take this and I'm going to figure it out by breaking it down. Jupiter is the opposite. Jupiter is the power of synthesis. I'm going to see what's the same in all of these things and I'm going to bring it together into one message, Sagittarius, one faith and the experience of spiritual unity, Pisces. Jupiter is trying to gather up all the Gemini pieces, and Mercury is trying to work with that kind of one unified idea. And while they can do it, the issue, I think, is overwhelm and trying to take shortcuts. That plugs into the Mercury retrograde because the themes around this, where you're trying to take shortcuts and where you're feeling overwhelmed by all the little pieces, can get us into trouble, the Mercury retrograde. So we will have a chance to revisit this aspect 2 more times. So pay close attention to what's happening today, the feelings and the thoughts behind it. Also thinking about where you have Sagittarius and Gemini, your chart. As far as oppositions go, it's not terrible. Jupiter doesn't become a malefic just because it's in an opposition, right? There can still be a little bit of a puzzle, right? Figuring out the best way to do something is a very Mercury-Jupiter thing, but they might have different ideas and not quite the skill set in each other's signs to really be able to do that. But their heart's in the right place, and so is yours. Okay. Also on Monday, we have the Sun in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces at the very end of Pisces. This is very interesting because it's one of the last times this will happen between these pair of signs. I think we'll get it once more next year, but we're getting this flow, this dream space again, because this is happening after an exhausting frenetic full moon with the moon in Cancer. I think that this one registers a little bit more of escapism. Choose your own adventure. Read a fantasy novel or catch up on Outlander because the new season is starting. Yeah, and just be mindful and don't go overboard because Neptune can inspire, but it's not a great leader. And when it is transfixing the sun, our sense of power and purpose and grounded and centeredness can get a little silly. Tuesday, we have Pluto ingress into Aquarius for the very last time. Pluto has made, this will be the 3rd ingress into Aquarius. We've had it for 6 weeks in 2023. We've had it for a lot of 2024. But at the very tail end of its retrograde, it went back into Capricorn, just to the 29th degree. But that was bringing up those themes. It was finishing up business right there. And now it is in Aquarius, changing at the granular level, the Aquarian's faces of our lives. What a cool transit. I am pretty excited for this one as an Aquarius rising. So far, the Pluto in Aquarius has felt very cool. It is going to bring a lot of technology, as everybody has said. I think one of the key pieces that I'm watching is we go from the Pluto return of the country, from the chart that was the Declaration of Independence, the Pluto return of the Constitution, and wondering what democracy is going to look like and questioning what it has looked like and really test the ideas and the integrity that the United States was founded on. It's going to change, and there are culture wars about that. Tense. We'll see what happens. But this is the final exit of Pluto from Capricorn. Pluto is done with your Capricorn house, which has had some share of Pluto since 2008. So that's a huge deal. It's also going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. It doesn't leave until 2044. So this is 20 years. And when I'm looking at Pluto transits, people tend to make big claims about them. They tend to exaggerate. And those exaggerations in many ways are true, but they're not all going to happen at once, right? This is a story that will continue for 20 years. If it was blowing up your world every year, every week, that would be completely unsustainable. There will be big shifts to it. There will be intense moments where you really feel the transit, especially if you have significant fixed sign placements. So Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, or Taurus. But there will also be years where you don't feel the transit. And it's only when you look back on that period of your life that you see the big shifts. Pluto is also not a personal planet, doesn't really care about what you are doing. Now, obviously, there are different placements and different birth charts that can center Pluto in your life and Plutonian experiences. But Pluto doesn't care about you. Pluto is reaching out culturally and shifting things in the world. And so what we absorb from Pluto, it's not exactly like emanating out from us like the sun or the moon, but it's being received. And if it's changing things culturally, those are these nuggets of culture that we are receiving, that are informing us, that are changing us, because Pluto is about transformation. Aquarius is quite headstrong in where it thinks progress should go, but is also quite open to change because, similar to Pluto, Aquarius is not a very personal sign. Aquarius doesn't really have its sense of self tied up in this ego space necessarily. Now, I'm not saying that people with Aquarius don't have egos, but Aquarius is living in the past and the future and the present all as one unified continuum. Pluto moving through Aquarius is about rearranging our whole sense of the big picture and time. It's about reinterpreting history. Pluto in Capricorn was about analyzing all these institutions of the past. Pluto in Aquarius will be more future centered, more open to different possibilities because we are getting ours, right? AI and technological advancement is giving us the ability to think and do things that we could not as fast before. It is changing the futurescape. That changes our understanding of the past, changes our sense of where we are now and what the tasks are here for us as a species and a globe, and what it means to be citizens of this time period in this place, in this universe. I'm excited to be along for the ride with you guys. Wednesday, the moon goes into Leo. The moon in Leo can get a little bit pissed off in these times because we have Mars in Leo. The moon runs quickly into Mars, opposes Pluto. It's a harried entry. Thursday, the sun moves into Sagittarius. We move from the broody, obsessive space of Scorpio into exuberant, bombastic, fussy, annoying, abrupt, direct Sagittarius. Brilliant experience of being alive on a mission. And the sun steps into Sagittarius and immediately sextiles Pluto. We have this transformation of the sense of self, right? A real uncloaking. Pluto has just moved into Aquarius. This is the first transit that the sun makes with Pluto in Aquarius in this new space. The sun is being transformed by Pluto. Pluto is being beheld by the sun. They can see each other and be inspired. That's quite exciting. Now, Friday, we get Venus sextiling Saturn. They're working together from Capricorn and Pisces. This is a real grounding commitment space. I think this would be a great time to spend some time with people that you've known for a long time. Doing something slow, nothing crazy, some connection. Midday Friday, the moon goes into Virgo, and we will organize ourselves and figure all of our stuff out. From there, we don't have any huge transits over the weekend. Friday, we hit the third quarter moon, so we are dropping into the fourth quarter of the lunar cycle, the quietest week of the lunar month. So a good weekend to stay home and organize your stuff before the holidays, write your meal plans, do your grocery shopping, all good Virgo moon stuff so that we can be ready for the week ahead and get some rest for all of that. So that's what I have for you today for the time period coming up. Next week, Mercury stationing retrograde. New moon in Sagittarius, Thanksgiving in the US, and the sun trines Mars. The end of November is a lot cleaner and more fun than the end of October was. Hopefully you find time and space for enjoyment and understand that having fun is a basic human need. Lean into it. See you next time.